Minnie Driver found love on a date, just not with her date. The speechless beauty revealed during an interview with The Talk on Wednesday that she ran into her old friend Neville Wakefield when on a blind date. The blind date didn't work out, but she ended up getting closer to Neville, who is now her boyfriend of 2 years. The star, 46, told the panelists of the CBS Daytime Chat Fest that she and her date went for a walk on the beach and, she, knew it wasn't gonna work out, so, she, said, "Shall we sit down?" She continued, "We were sitting there and I saw somebody walk by and I recognized him from the back of his head, and it was this guy that I've known since I was 17 years old and I called out his name, and it was him, and we went out together." Driver said she and Wakefield, one of her great friends when she was 18, hadn't seen each other in about 10 years when they crossed paths on the serendipitous sand. "We went out for dinner and that was that," she said of Neville, a 53-year-old art writer and curator. Driver said her romance with Wakefield presented something of a silver lining in another sense, as she always regretted that her late father, Charles Ronald Driver, would not get to meet the man she fell in love with in the wake of his death in 2009. "I was always sad that my dad was never gonna know the guy I would end up with because he passed away," she said, but Dad loved Neville. Prior to Neville, the charming English star had dated a string of A-list actors, among them Matt Damon, John Cusack, Harrison Ford, and Josh Brolin, who she was engaged to. Minnie, in a February 2012 interview with The Guardian, said that her love life had once caught up with her in a humorous way as she took a drive through Hollywood, noticing a string of X's sprouting up on street advertisements for TV shows and movies. "There was one time I realized it's a whole billboard," she said. "My sister pointed it out when we were driving past and we laughed so hard. But oh, that's so, being so naughty." In her segment on The Talk, the Oscar-nominated stunner said she initially got into show business as a musician, but the success of her acting career, buoyed by parts in films such as Sleepers and Grosse Pointe Blank, prior to her breakout role in Good Will Hunting, took her on a different path. The films blew up and some sane adults said, "You should really go with the flow of what's happening, you should go down the path of least resistance, don't just dig your feet in and say you've got to do this, because you'll always do this anyway," Driver said. The charismatic British beauty said that advice was on the money, as she never stopped playing music even though she took a different career path. In 2004, Minnie released an album titled, "Everything I've Got in My Pocket," and the titular single charted in the UK. "It's just that my job became something else," said the star, who has a son named Henry, aged 7 years, with ex-Timothy J. Lee. "I really love acting, it's fun and great and awesome and I've made a really good living at it for a long time, so it really worked out." Minnie's new show Speechless airs on ABC Wednesdays at 8:37:30 C.